Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my hobby home. My name is Cathy. Thank you for joining me tonight. I am going to be making a project out of the Open Gate quilt box. I am making this. This is called the storage box. I love fall storage box. I think I said in one of my prior videos that was from the Sew Sampler. It's not. This one is from the Open Gate quilt box. I saw this. I did an opening of this box. Well, the video was a couple days ago. But in reality, it was yesterday. But this video is not publishing for probably another 4 or 5 days. So a week ago in real life is when I did an opening of the Open Gate quilt box. And I saw this pattern and I really liked it. So I thought, well, I would bring you guys along with me. Why not? Since I brought you along with opening the box, might as well bring you along with doing the project. Since this is not my pattern to share, I'm just going to show you what we have. No measurements, no nothing like that. But we will kind of chit chat and sew. So let's see. The first thing we have, and I'll tell you what each fabric is for. So we have what they call pumpkin tossed pumpkin fabric. So we have 3 pieces cut of that fabric. This is for the bottom outside and the rectangles for the handles. So I'm going to sit that over to the side. And then we have 2 pieces for the top of the bag. So the pumpkins are going to be at the bottom of the bag and the words are going to be at the top of the bag. So we've got 2 pieces of that. And then for our lining, I have to try to find the direction of this fabric. Okay. We have lining and a fusible interfacing. But this is going to be our lining. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of a design on that. But yeah. So I thought I would bring you guys along with me. And I'm going to pause you for a second and get my sewing machine set up and get everything ready so we can start sewing together. You will be coming from behind me looking at the sewing machine. So just one moment. Okay guys, I'm hoping that we have sound, because I have come to find when I move my camera, sometimes my sound messes up and goes out. I'm hoping that's not the case. So, okay, so let's get started with our sewing. First thing we have to do is take our rectangles and we have to press them in half lengthwise. And then it says open and press the raw edges in towards the center. So let me get these pressed. Okay, so we have our pieces pressed. And make sure when you're pressing that you're pressing just on it and not ironing on it, because that can stretch that out. And we don't want to stretch that out. So my next step is, I've already got this piece on the machine. I have to stitch 1/8 of an inch from both edges. I use this little thing to learn or see where my 1/8 is. 1/8 is this one way up here. I don't know if you can see that. But on my machine, it's just on the inside of my presser foot. So I'm going to go on and do this. And I will tell you, the thread I'm using is Dove, and the bobbin is Dove. Feels like it's having difficulties moving, so I'm finding the threads here. Because the needle is in my fabric, I'm not worried about it, but I'm getting the threads so I can kind of give it a little tug to help it through. Yeah, there it goes. And I'm just making sure that they stay pressed together good, because sometimes those like to bubble up, gap, stretch, all the above. Okay, so I have that side done, and let me find my little trimmers, my little scissors here to take care of the mess. I'm going to be using my little bucket here instead of that big one. So now we are going to set, let me get these threads because that'll just make it easier if I do that. I'm going to set that right under the fabric. I can't really see under this real well, so I just have to kind of try to eyeball it. And being that it's not on the presser, I can't think what they're called. It's under the presser foot, but not on the, I want to call them dogs. I don't know what they're called. That it sometimes wants to go corkscrewed. You know, it wants to go sideways under there. Okay. So now we have that first one completed. And I'll let you see that. We have that on both sides. And I probably need to cut that light on for you there. See, we have a stitch on, oops, both sides here. And we are going to do that to the other piece. And I'm stitching the open side first. Let me grab these threads just so I can help it out a little bit if necessary. And notice when that needle went down, that fabric kind of went sideways there. You have to be careful with that because it will pull it the wrong direction. And you just kind of want to watch that to make sure that fabric is staying flat and not bulking up. And you know what? I don't get in a hurry. I actually have my machine on a medium speed just because I know I can control it better at a medium speed. If you can control it at a high speed, by all means, go at whatever speed you're comfortable at. I'm fine going at a low, a slower speed. It doesn't bother me at all. Making sure I have my threads just in case I need to use it. And see, that fabric kind of poked up right there. I don't think it was trying to do anything, but just to make sure, I like to keep my hands on it real close. Okay, so that is our second one. I believe these are the handles for our little storage bag. So this is going to be kind of tiny. I'm just going to set them over there. So we have to sew our blue word rectangles on both edges of the pumpkin fabric. It says watch the directions of the blue words. Now, which way is our pumpkin fabric supposed to be long? So I'm guessing this way. So I'm going to sew that up. Yeah. And I believe everything is sewn on 1/4 of an inch. It does not say, but I do believe everything is on 1/4 of an inch. So let me just get this side together. Once I get that needle in, I'm just make sure this corner is correct. And as long as I have this corner correct, I can get the rest of it once I get that needle in it. See, I put it under there and I get my needle in. And then what I do is I pull it together once I have that needle in. And be careful not to stretch your fabric too. And I know some of my cuts may be a little different. I think my top fabric may be a little bit longer. And I could have stretched it just a little bit because it does feel like it's on the stretchy cut. Okay, so that's our first one, and that's going up. So the next one, oh, we got to put our right sides together. And I may press these after I've sewn. I probably am, just to make sure that it matched up well. But y'all, if y'all get the, like I said, this is from the Open Gate Quilt box. Tell me what projects you've done out of the box. This is my first project out of the Open Gate Quilt box because I've had other quilts going on. And I have another quilt I should be working on now, but I saw this and I thought, well, you know, this is time sensitive. It needs to be done before before fall gets here. I mean, it is September and I've already got a little bit of stuff out on my mantle now for fall. But I ended up the other night, I had purchased a cute little thing for my mantle, and it was wood colored. And where my fireplace is on the back of it, it's wood colored. And so I just proceeded to paint it. Okay, so it tells me that I need to press, let's see, press in the direction of the arrows. So I'm going to press in this direction. So everything goes one direction. So I'm going to pause you real quick. and be right back. Okay, now our next step, it says, following manufacturer's instructions, press the fusible fleece to the wrong side of the piece to make the outside of the box. So I have to press the fusible fleece to this piece here. So let me just show you here. I have to press the fusible fleece. Now how I'm going to do that, on fusible fleece you have a rough side and a smooth side. I'm doing this, the rough side goes to the back of the fabric, making sure you can see that. This is the rough side. You can feel the difference. It's going to go to the wrong side of the fabric. And I'm just trying to make sure I have it centered, because it's not going to go all the way from one end to the other. It's going to have about a quarter of, not even a quarter, maybe an eighth of an inch on each side. So let me press this together. Now I have the fusible fleece. It is on there. See, it's not coming apart. It's on there. So now we turn the fabric this direction. And now what we are going to be doing is adding our handles. Now it says to baste them on the fabric, so I will show you how it shows to do it. It says place the handles on the wire fabric, matching raw edges approximately 3 inches from each end. Baste in place. We're going to have to measure our 3 inches. So I have a little bitty ruler here. That's a 4.5 inch ruler. So let me find my 3. And I need to get my pins so I can pin it, because I like to be able to pin things like this. And I had it pretty close. And I'm not left-handed, so this is going to be pretty difficult for me because it's on the left-hand side. So that's 3 inches. And I don't know if you can see how I'm doing this because my hand is in the way. So what I've done is I've just looped it around. It says 3 inches from both ends, or both sides. So that's what I've done. And see, I've just pinned them together there, pinned it. Well, it says to baste in place. So let me go on and baste this. And a baste is based off of your width, your stitch width. So I'm going to put my baste at 4 because I really don't think I need a baste. I'm fine if it is in place good, because I don't want the handles coming out. But I know they say baste it for a reason. So what I'm going to do, I'm doing it 1/4 of an inch. But I'm starting off of the handle and I'm coming over the handle, and I'm going to go all the way. And I'm not even going to stop. I'm going to keep, oops, this in here is kind of crooked looking. So I know it's correct at the top, so I just have to get the So I'm just going to go on and baste all the way across. I'm not even going to stop. And when you have that needle in, when you're basting, you can leave that needle, that pin in, because a based stitch is a really wide stitch. I need to keep going all the way across that. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't want to do that. Get my little pin cushion over here out of the way. Let me trim this up. I've got some ravels right there that I want to take care of too. I don't know what is with fabric here lately, but I seem to be raveling my fabric. But okay, so here's the first handle. So now I have to do the second handle. I'm going on both sides. And y'all don't ever be afraid to use your rulers and your tools. I mean, it don't matter how long you've sewn. Now, granted, I've sewn a really long time, but now this is a huge but. It's been a really long time since I have sewn, you know, big stuff. And so let's get that one pinned in. So see, we've got that end pinned in as well. Hope you can see that really well. Now I'm going to move you back up a little bit. You're going to be shaking and jiggling there some. Okay. I'm going to slide this under here, and I'm going to drop my needle before I get on the little handle. And then I'm going to just sew all the way across. And notice how slow I'm going. No need to go real fast. It is not a race. You don't have to go real fast. I know some people are very comfortable going fast. I'm not. And that's okay. You do not have to. I'm going down and taking that pin out. It didn't want to stay in there correct anyway, so. You go at your own speed. Do not feel like you have to go fast if you don't feel comfortable going fast. But if you feel comfortable going way faster than me, which really isn't hard to do, because I just like to take my time, because if I mess something up, I don't have that big of a mess up. You know, I can catch it early on. So, let me see how, yeah. So we have our two handles. Now let's see what our next thing is. It says with right sides together. This is our right sides. So the outside together along both sides. So we are going to sew these at 1/4 inch. Okay, so we are going to sew both of the sides together, and I'm doing it from the folded end first. I don't know why there's no rhyme or reason as to why I'm doing it that direction first. It doesn't say. So, to me, it's just easier to do it that way. I don't sew from one end to the, the open end to the closed end, and then have a bubble or something there that's not sewing together correctly. Okay, so we have these sewed together. And it says press. Okay, our next step, I'm kind of winging it. Excuse me. Gotta grab my water here for a second. Okay, it says fold the bottom to create a triangle and sew the corners. Yeah, I got it real short, but it don't matter. I'm okay with it. So, it says with the outside of the bag, right sides out. Okay. This is the outside of the bag. So we're doing right side out. I don't see how that made a square. That did not make a square. Well, maybe it does when you do it like that. I don't know. I ain't figured out how that makes a... I was probably supposed to do it the other direction. And the lining right sides in, fit the inside of the box into the lining. Okay, so I have to fit this into the lining. Okay, it says sew around the outside, leaving a 2.5 inch opening. Which they should say sew around the top, because everything else is already sewed. I mean, honestly. So we're just trying to get, and our handles are tucked. Our handles are tucked. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the opening right here at the handle. But I'm going to have to start, I'm sorry, I'm doing this off camera where y'all can't see it, but I'm going to have to start at a seam trying to get it to match up. So what I'm trying to do here, it's, of course, it's not going in it correctly because it's thicker. It's way thicker. So, I know that's more than 2.5 inches. But I'm just pinning everything really good so it stays together correctly. Now this side, I can just sew it all the way across. This isn't going to matter here on this side. Because it didn't say I needed to leave it. It said just leave a 2.5 inch opening. I may leave it a little bigger than 2.5 inches. Okay, so I think I am going to start right here and go around, because this is where I'm leaving my opening. And when I'm sewing like this, I don't like to sew from the bottom piece. I like to sew from the top piece. And I may not like that after this. Well, let me take this off. That may make it a little bit easier. I am going to pull this a little closer to me. And let's see if I can slide this. Whoops! My whole foot just come off. What in the world? Y'all, this is real life. This is what happens when I sew. There we go. I must have just bumped the little thing back there, taking that off. Is this going to fit? Yes, it does. Yay. Okay, so I'm doing 1/4 inch. Now notice it's going to be very tight, so I can only do a couple of stitches, then I have to turn. So let's see what we can get going here. Okay, so now I turn a little more. Pull that pin out just a little bit. Just taking our time. Just to ensure we don't have any mistakes here. Which it probably is a mistake already. I probably cut these corners wrong. I was probably supposed to do them the other direction, but they are what they are now. Okay, so we're getting close to where we started. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to go. It says fit the lining into the bag. Okay, so we are done with that. And now I can take these pins out and I can trim up my threads, because now what I have to do is reach through the bag. So reach through the bag, pull the right sides out. Yeah, I may have to undo that a little bit, because with this interfacing, that's pretty thick. Okay, so we're just getting the bag turned out. Okay, so now fit the lining into the bag. It says, and then press. So our handle is the part that's not sewn. And it says sew around the top, closing the opening. Okay, so let me get this pressed. Okay, so now I have it pressed, and the next thing we need to do is to sew this top to catch everything. And it says to sew the whole top, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to think that it's 1/4 of an inch. But when I get around to that handle, I have to make sure it's turned in good. Okay, so let's get that turned a little bit. And this will also help that lining stay straight in the bag. Now, I know this is a little difficult right here on these side seams, but we'll get it in there. And like I said, it really does not matter to me what it comes out as, because now this is where I have to make sure it's tucked in good, because it is only a little bitty bit of fabric right there. Let me go on and just get a little closer to it so I can make sure that's all tucked in real nice and tight right there. Which, if I'm saying that 1/4 of an inch right there, I know it needs to go in a little more, but it has that interfacing there that is not letting me turn that under. It's got the bulk there and I can't get it to go under. So I'm just going to go over this and see if I can get that to catch. And I can just hope that caught. I don't think it did, but we're going to see when I pull it off the machine. If not, I can hand stitch it. I can put a little whip stitch in it and no one will be the wiser. So let's just see what we got here. Let me trim it up. Well, it looks like it caught it. Look at this, guys. So we have our little bag. I'm not quite sure how that makes it a square bottom. It doesn't to me. I think they should have been this direction, but it doesn't say that in the instructions. So but yeah, so here's our little bag. Cute little bag. So guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you like this type of content, please feel free to subscribe. And I love it if you leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this. Overall, it really wasn't hard. I've never made a bag, so that's probably why the instructions were a little confusing for me. But overall, it was fairly easy. And look, I mean, the lining looks really nice. The little bag looks real nice. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And as always, until I see you again, have a very blessed day. Goodbye.